Welcome to Total Agent Access, where we interview the most inspiring real estate agents in the world to share with you the best advice from our brightest minds. With your host, me, Colin Bredner. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We got a special guest today, Deborah Ojo. Did I say the last name right?
You did. You did a very fantastic job. Yeah.
OJO. It's probably really simple, but I did not want to screw it up. How are you today?
I'm great, Colin. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm really good. Glad to be on here with you. You and I met on Instagram, and I really liked what you're putting out, all the content that you're putting out. So I thought I'd invite you on and get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, me too. One thing I love about doing the podcast is I get to meet all kinds of interesting people. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Most people will ask.
I can tell by your accent that you're not from Canada.
Okay. So I am originally Nigerian. So I grew up some part of my life, 15 years, first 15 years is in Nigeria. So I always say I'm neither Nigerian nor Canadian because I was uprooted from Nigeria 15 years after the first 15 years, and then I came to Canada. But I did all my college, my adult life, kids and business, everything in Canada. So, yeah.
You know what? Every Nigerian person that I have ever met are the most fun, funny, and outgoing people. I think your nation of Nigeria is just full of happy, fun people.
Well, yes, most people are, but I don't know if you would qualify me as fun. A lot of my team members will say, Deborah, so it's all work for you because I'm just a little bit different. But yes, most Nigerians are outgoing. But remember, I'm neither Nigerian nor Canadian, so I don't fit in a perfect box. But most Nigerians are very funny. They are known they don't get easily depressed. Everything is light. They make fun out of everything. So, yes.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, so I do have kids. I have 4 kids. So that's
4 kids.
Yeah,
you have your hands full.
Yeah, that's what took out the fun out of me, I would say. Yeah, I do have 4 little kids, from 13 to 7. Some of them are only a year apart, so we're constantly juggling that and business. So I've had to improvise, of course, to make sure that I'm fully at home when I'm home, and when I'm at work, I'm fully at work as well. So, and yeah, my life pretty much revolve around my kids. My husband, that is my backbone, is a visionary, is the person that supports me, push me to the big stage, make sure the home is all right for me to want to stay fully and not be worried about my kids. And yeah, so that's my family. My entire family is here. My parents brought me, like I said, when I was 15. So they created a platform for us to be able to thrive, which I'm really thankful for that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much about me.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to travel.
If you have spare time.
I like to travel. So I travel after COVID, actually, I started traveling a lot. I would travel like 3-4 times a year, start intentionally scheduling it. But it wasn't just because of COVID. It was also because finally my kids are old enough to actually leave them behind and travel and also explore other things. So I think that's what I like to do. And let me tell you, when I travel, I sleep. Okay, that's what I'm doing in my travel time. I'm not. Yeah. Sorry. Say that again.
Sorry, we had a bit of a hiccup there. I was just saying that you have to leave and go on vacation to be able to take a rest.
Yeah, to be able to have myself shut down
Yeah.
completely, not completely, but almost completely, and sleep. And I'm one of those people that would maybe go out, or I could sleep the entire day on my vacations and just come back rested. So it's luxury, but it's actually also part of necessity for me. Because one of the funny things that I'm not sure if you have this as a realtor, Colin, is my brain is working nonstop, even when I'm sleeping. So I discovered that I was sleeping for 6, 7 hours, but I'm not completely shut off. So I started developing migraine headaches. And my doctor started telling me it's because you're not resting enough. But I'm saying, well, I sleep 7 hours, I sleep 8 hours. What do you mean I'm not resting enough? So yeah, so that's what I do on my vacation, sleep.
Good for you. Where's your favorite place to go?
I've been to a couple of places. Mexico, I think, is one of the highest, the place that I love the most, mostly because I just love the customer service. They were very relatable. They were very professional. I'm very big on professionalism and the way you treat your customers. So they just listened. You know, the house was exactly the villa was exactly the way we wanted it. Everything was at a beck and call. So I loved that. I also love to come to the US. I go to Vegas a lot, but I'm not a Vegas style because I will sleep anyway. So I stopped going there.
You
But
you sound like you would get along with my wife and I quite often
oh
because
yeah,
we love to go away, stay in a nice hotel to sleep.
yeah, exactly right. What more fun can you ask for? I mean, as a realtor, we see a lot of exciting things, and I don't know. It's just me. I just came back from Florida, so I think when we booked this appointment, I was in Florida. I did go to the beach. To be honest, we stayed there for 2 weeks. I went to the beach 2 times. I had some business meetings, but there were a few days that it was just I didn't step out of the hotel room. I just Ubered in, slept, went to the beach. I actually slept on the beach, so that's what I did, and it was peaceful. It was good. You should try it.
Good. Hey, I'm game. I'm game for anything. What did you do before you got into real estate?
Okay, so I was a teacher before real estate. I came into real estate. My story was funny because when I came as a new immigrant, it was very difficult calling in Canada at the time, even now because of a shortage of homes, low inventory. It's very difficult for normal Canadians, regular Canadians, to get accommodation because the supply is so low. But now, as an immigrant, it's even lower because you don't have all the credentials they're asking for. They're asking for employment letter, they're asking for references, and as an immigrant, you didn't have this. So, I came into real estate saying that I'm going to be that solution to people. But I was also a teacher. So when I started having my kids, I studied human resources management as my undergraduate degree. That's what I studied. I then did project management. And then it's funny because today I actually saw an email where I was asking for a sponsorship I think it was some kind of grant for $500. This was about 15 years ago. And at that time, I was doing project management and I saw that. I'm like, wow, we've come so far. But and I wrote over there that, hey, pretty much give me this chance. I have 2 kids. I know that I'm supposed to be in some kind of leadership role and give, is be an inspiration for other generations. But I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I think this project management is going to help me to those leadership roles. But then after that, project management, I went into teaching. I was teaching high school students, and that helped me to express myself. That is where I got all my teaching skills from. I always want to teach, I want to be on the stage, so that helped me to express myself that way. And I would say that was when I started finding myself, because I always say, as a kid, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew whatever I did, I was going to excel in it. So from teaching now, I wasn't very fulfilled. It was the income wasn't enough. Kids don't want to study. I'm not Nigerian, I'm not Canadian. Canadian kids, you have to baby them. Nigeria kids, you have to be like, let's go. You gotta do this or else, right? So that wasn't fulfilling that drive because the kids that you're talking to don't really want to be there. So it was a continuous struggle. So I pivot into real estate after that. I think I answer your question in a long way. So let's stop there. Yeah, that's my journey to real estate.
So
Okay, you're back.
yeah, we keep cutting out here. That's okay. We can edit this.
Okay.
What drew you from there to wanting to become a real estate agent?
Okay. So my story started from when I wanted to start providing housing for I guess disadvantaged group like immigrants, people of color, and all of that. That's where it started. But that's vision got reactivated when we bought our first home. So in the process, I got married. We bought our first home. We sold it. We made a lot of money. And I said, well, in 18 months, we made this much money in the hundreds. And I don't know any other profession that could help us make this much money. So I want to go into real estate. And I actually became obsessed about real estate. My husband would come home. I'll be
Stop you
like,
from sleeping, right?
yeah, pretty much. I was looking at, yeah, I was one of those neighbors that was looking at the neighborhood, seeing how much you sold your house for. I would interview you. Wow, don't you feel like you're cheating people from just selling your house? How much I saw you buy this house and you sold this for this much. So, and when my husband comes home, it was even more annoying because he wants to talk about other things, settle down. I'm like, oh, did you see that person? He just sold his house. I can't believe it. And one day, you guys, right? It was like, yeah, if you like it so much, why don't you just go do that then? And I'm like, yeah, I should, right? I could. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a real estate agent. I'm going to help people make money because I've seen this happen. And I spoke to my realtor then that sold and bought us another property. This house we sold, we used it to buy two properties. So I said, okay, how can I become a real estate agent? And then it showed me some of the things we needed to do. Because it's funny, people don't know what you need to do to become a real estate agent. You think you need all the certificates and all of those things, but it's not really true, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this knowledge is not common to everybody that is not in it. So it told me, showed me the ropes. And yeah, that's how we're here now.
Excellent. So we've all had them. Share with me your worst real estate moment. Tell me that story. And what did you learn from it?
Hmm. My worst real estate moments. I mean, I had few of them. So I'm trying to think about which one I want to share. Um, so as a realtor, right? So because I wear two hats, I'm a real estate investor and I'm also a real estate I'm also a real estate agent, broker. So as a real estate broker, there was this person that came to me. Remember, I wanted to serve underserved communities. That was one of the reasons why I came here. So I met this woman. She had three kids. One of them actually is has developmental disabilities. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
and she was living in the worst part of town. She's also a Nigerian. She came to me. She wanted to buy a property, but she didn't have enough funds. And anytime I see people that have three or four kids, my heart just goes to them. Like I'm imagining the struggle. You have to live in a better place at least, and all of that. So, my emotion took over me. I went to somebody else to borrow her some funds, and she wasn't very committed. She didn't understand the entire transaction, and the deal fell through because she wasn't going to submit her documents. She wasn't very educated, to be honest. So she didn't understand the entire process, even though I tried to explain everything to her. And she came back and said, well, I'm not paying this person back. And not only did she do that, she also went to my brokerage went to my broker of record and said, well, I think you should fire this person because this and this happened to me. And it's like, you borrowed money. That was a contract that you have to fulfill. They asked you to submit all your documentations for mortgage. You didn't want to do that. That's not Deborah's fault. But she went all the way trying to take my job, right?
Right.
And that was my worst moment because she also threatened me. She would call me day and night, and I lost my peace for 2 days. And I love to sleep. You know that already. I love to sleep. So anything that is gonna take my sleep away, it's something that is very serious. I had to call my parents. I had to be praying about it, and eventually that went away. And I think that was my worst moment so far.
That's really hard, especially when you came from a place of wanting to help, right? And I think most of us as realtors, we have that. And I've said it on before that we all have kind of a servant's heart, and at least the good agents do. And we all want to help. And it's really tough when somebody can't see that
Yeah.
and does something not so nice back to you. So, if you could give yourself advice when you first started off now, what would you say to yourself and why?
If I could give myself an advice, when I came to real estate, I wasn't born with silver spoon, so to say. And when I came to real estate, it was also a time of struggle in my life, and I wasn't sure how everything was gonna work out. But one of the things that helped me was my commitment, and also eventually having systems. But if I was to go back and give myself some advice, is to try to have systems in place so that you can prevent yourself from mistakes, reduce your wasted times, right? Just automate everything so that you're a little bit more efficient, more professional to your clients as well. And having policies, business policies, that's something that's 100% I tell everybody. You know my favorite line now, Colin? You want to hear it?
Please do.
Due to my business policy, Colin, I won't be able to do this at the moment. I don't need to explain to you why I'm not doing it. I'm just saying this is against my business policy. I don't go out and borrow money for clients. I don't get involved in their financial situation. I introduce this to somebody else. And unfortunately, if you can't do that, I can move forward. So I have a lot of those business policies now, and I don't really care what happens. I try not to let my emotion get in control. So there's several things now that I do have policies to protect myself, so I don't go against my business practices. Right.
Yeah. What were the best systems that you've implemented in your business?
Some of the systems are one of the first thing that I did, which is not system really, is to have. Okay. One of my systems is to have somebody manage that system. So I hired an assistant as soon as I could. This assistant was able to help me research other systems such as my website, automations, getting leads, because a lot of times we have our website and it's not getting leads for us. It's not functional. People cannot even browse which house they want on the website. She helped me rearrange all of those things. Also, my email system, which is my marketing system. So every week we would send an email out. We have a template, we have the time that we send it out. We have some tabs in there that makes it very easy for clients to call us back or contact us or different things like that. So I have an email system. I also have a system from onboarding my clients. So if you come to me, I have a different series of steps that you're gonna follow, how I communicate my expectations to you so you understand exactly what your roles are and what my roles are, how my relationship is with other professionals like lawyers, mortgage agents, and all of that. So we are both on all on the same side, right? So I have my onboarding systems as well, and also the process of buying properties and closing, different documents as well to explain this process to them because I deal with a lot of first time home buyers and um, all of this are new to them pretty much. So I find myself doing a lot of explanation And people may say, hey, I didn't understand that, or you didn't say that. Well, I wrote it down, I sent to you to email. How about that? Right?
Yep.
So yeah, those are some of the systems that I have, and we have our referral. We have a referral program as well. We have our networking programs, how we get leads. We have all of that as well. And one of the things I did as well, Collins, was my initial hire, the first couple of ones. I made them document the exact way that they do things that I like. So
Yep.
when you are coming, you're having that now as business practices, procedures to follow. So you're not just starting from the scratch. So instead of me, upset real estate agents, few assistants that I've worked with, and it's not just me. Other people have also told me this, that we like to communicate. We think we are talking, but we're not communicating to our assistants what we want. We are communicating our frustration. So this way, you have something in writing to know exactly how to do things, and it reduces the frustration on my side and for my eyes as well. So I have employee handling book as well, just to help them. So those are some of the things I have.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Systems save me so much time in a day. So, um, so we've all had them. The moment that everything in our business is clicked, where it all makes sense, and you gain some kind of clarity. Tell us your aha moment, that moment that sticks with you and helps push you forward.
When we gain some clarity, okay. So I want to say some of my clarity. I mean, I have different moments. First of all, when I had my first clients, and I'm like, okay, now I know I can do this. This is not too bad. But also, I think in my year 5, I started gaining momentum. I understood exactly what my clients are looking for from me because I got feedbacks. I interviewed them, spoke to them. I understand what my genius zone is as an agent and what makes me different from everybody else. So my competitive advantage, right? I
Yep.
understood that I'm able to communicate it directly to my clients, and I'm able to say, hey, if this is outside of what you're looking for, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. And I was comfortable with that too, right? Because
Yep.
sometimes we want to do business everywhere. And one of it was I wasn't going to travel anything that is over 1 hour away from me radius. In the beginning, I would travel
So smart.
two,
So
three
smart.
hours, right?
Yeah.
And it was costing me time. When clients eventually does not buy from me, oh my goodness, I get frustrated. I don't know if you have that at the beginning, but for me, it would just be like my heart just sunk. Like I invested everything. And how dare you, Collins, do that to me?
I know, and especially when you first start in this business, you have to hustle and you want to take every possible thing you can because you have to make money. You have to make money for your
Yeah.
family, and you don't know, and kind of you still don't. But with great systems, you can have a surety, but you don't know when the next paycheck's coming. So you hustle and you run down every
Mhm.
lead. And like you said, you know, people ghosting you or, leaving you. And you're like, oh, I just spent all this time and I get nothing,
Exactly.
absolutely nothing for it. So what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you to open up your toolbox a bit here and share with our listeners what are your marketing secrets? What has worked for you when you first started, and what has worked for you now?
Okay. I think my marketing has been consistent. It was something that I just happened to do in the beginning. So, in the beginning, when I started, real estate agents can be, what is the word? Praise? No. What is the opposite of pray?
Of prey?
Pray when a bird is preying on you. I forgot what the word is, but real estate agents could be they could take advantage sometimes of other new agents. And when I started, and depends on how you see it, but that's how I saw it at the time, I was like, this agent wanted me to be working for him. I was going to be calling people as cold calls, and once I get my leads, I will pass it to him. He was gonna be paying me, I think, 20% of whatever lead I was getting. He wasn't going to take me to the appointments. I wasn't gonna do anything else, just call for the first 1 year.
So basically an inside sales agent.
Yes,
But
right?
for somebody that's wanting to become a real estate agent and really become a professional, that's very difficult if you're not going out, because that's the small beginning part of the whole picture. And
Of
if you want to be that listing agent and you want to get there, you know where that is, because some people are okay with being an ISA, but some people just want to go out there and do the stuff. It can hamper you,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. And for me, I guess because my background has always been and my vision has always been bigger than me. So when people bring things that are just too small, Collins, I get offended. I take it personally sometimes. I'm like, how dare you think that's what I'm limited to, right? So it wasn't gonna give me any exposure. I wasn't gonna get my name on the listing uh, 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 boards outside. So I didn't like that. But I did that for about 3 weeks. At this time, I already had my kids, three kids, and it wasn't just gonna work for a working mom. I needed to resume work at 8 a.m. My kids start school at 8:30. It wasn't something that was working. I was struggling. So I said, hey, listen, I can't do that anymore. So, and then I stumbled into, well, I could talk. I do have an accent, but my attitude to my accent, Collins, is if you can't hear me, listen closely. Okay. That's
I love that. If you can't hear me, listen closely.
listen closely. That's always my attitude. So I'm not afraid to talk. I love the big stage. I still love it to now. And that became my secret. And that became my secret to getting my leads. So I love to go on stages. I would talk one time, prepare maybe for few days. Now I do it automatically. I will prepare for a few days. The first presentation for 1 week, I was practicing with my husband every line, every point, and everything. After that presentation, people rushed to my table. They're like, "Young girl, we want to work with you. We think you're amazing. You have such a big plans." And I'm like, wow, wow, wow. This is me that left my job. I didn't actually quit. I went on, what is it called? I went on a break for 6 months. Okay. So
Mhm.
I didn't quit my job. I went on a break. I said, if it doesn't work, I was going to come back. So people rushed to my table. That felt amazing. I got I think, 5 clients at a time for presenting for about 30 minutes. I didn't even have to pay these people anything for being on the stage. I just volunteer with them, help them arrange everything. And funny enough, they were going to do something different. And I said, hey, business owners can help you and we can add value to your program and we can do this, do that. And I got myself invited as one of the speakers. They gave me the opportunities. I got my first 5 clients. I got exposure. I got them signed up on my email as prospective clients. And some of them, so one of them actually still contacted me this week and said, well, I'm finally ready to buy real estate. And this is over 10 years ago. Okay.
Yep. You have to build those leads for long term. And what you really say, like your marketing and how you got started back then, it was really your personality.
Yes, yes. People say so many things, and Collins, I could talk like this because you want to talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me in a party, my lips are sealed. I don't say anything. It's my husband. Sometimes I will give cards and say, "Oh, go talk to my wife. She's a real estate agent. She's a badass," and all of that. I don't say anything. So I have to be on a stage and I have to see people wanting to talk to me for me to talk. So I did door knocking, it didn't work because once you say, hey, yeah, why are you harassing me? Why are you there? I'm like, oh, sorry, bye-bye. Some agents, they're very pushy. They're like, oh, yeah, we just, I can't do that. That doesn't fit my personality. So I just went with what was natural to me. That also extended to my social media marketing. People would, so once I started meeting those guys, my first presentation, then people started they would Google me. And I was very private with my kids and all of those things. And they said, Well, we can't find you anywhere. We see Deborah Holmes, but we don't see you on social media. We don't see what you've done. You said you're an investor and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I'm private. I made my profile public and I started posting content about what I'm actually doing. So social media in the beginning became a validation as to I'm not a scammer. I'm actually a real person that
You
practices real estate.
you do a great job on social, and I tell everybody because I also am really big on social and making that connection with people so people can really see who I am. And I'm
Exactly.
very authentic and all of that on there so they can see who I am and hopefully have a connection with me. So success like you've had, it doesn't come easy. And for a lot of us, we sacrifice time for success. How do you work with your four kids, the work life balance? And what advice could you give to other real estate agents looking for a little work life balance?
Awesome. So, I don't know if work-life balance exists, right? Sometimes it exists in our head because we think sometimes my clients don't owe me anymore because now I've built my business up to that stage. But you still have to understand, you still have to work it, right? So my system in the beginning was I would travel far and wide. I stopped doing that. I cut my time. I also have sales agents that work for me if they want to take those leads and I get a percentage of their commission, right? Instead
Yep.
of turning clients away completely. I hired assistants that are better than me in terms of social media editing, video editing, things like that, website research. They are better in doing some of those things anyway than I could. So I hired ants. I also use systems to help me remember, automate some of my correspondence and processes. I also don't work on Sundays anymore. And I tell all my clients, I'm gonna be like Collins, you're gonna have access to me from 9 to 5, but if it's not emergency, I kindly just ask that you text me. Please don't call me after 5. And just because of my family, I don't work on Sundays anymore. Is that gonna be a problem? If you don't like it, I have somebody else that can work with you.
That's excellent advice. You set the stage up front. Up
Yeah,
front when you first meet the client, this is how I work. If this works for you, then I would love to help you. But if it doesn't work for you, well, I have somebody that can step in that can sort of fill that role. You also gave some really good advice there on leveraging other people's time by hiring assistants that are better than you. So many times people want to hire an assistant that is your friend.
no,
And we're often quite friends with people just like us. And don't do that. Hire people to fill the gaps on what you're not good at, which often means that the people that you hire are not you,
exactly.
right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I did make that mistake. I tried to hire my sister and it was a clash. It was a big clash. After 2 months, I'm like, this is not going to work. We got to hire somebody else. And I got
Yeah.
somebody very fantastic, understands my personality, fills the gap and all of that. And I also want to add, my husband is my very big support. My number one support is the one pushing me to bigger stages. So he's there to give me the peace of mind when I'm not with the kids at home. So that's how we started. So I knew, the kids have to eat. You understand exactly what they have to. Also, I plan everything. I'm a planner. Okay. So he knows exactly what to feed them at what time. So we have systems for that too. Um, if I call,
I like what I'm hearing. Like you got systems at home. You
yes,
got systems for work. You
yes.
leverage the time of others. In order to scale at any sort of way, you have to have all these things and all these layers to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I tell people we run a business. Me and my husband, we think we actually our business of having kids, 4 kids. That's a business on its own.
Oh, I bet.
So we run it that way. So we have systems, we have policies, we have procedures. The kids understand expectations. They understand mom is not here. And when mom is here, she's here 100% for you guys, right? So I'm rolling on the carpets. we're playing chess together, we're doing all those things. And when I'm on the phone, I don't want to hear pin. You go to your room or downstairs. You don't come to mommy's office because clients don't need to. I don't like that unprofessionalism, right? I want to be professional. When I'm in my office, you're not coming here. So they
Um,
do understand some of those things as well.
Amazing. What is the one thing that has you most excited about the future of your real estate business?
Oh, there's so many things that is exciting me. I'm seeing myself doing other things. And I was asking my husband yesterday, I said, do you think if I was in real estate, do you think I would still be the same Deborah as I am now? Because my personality has just shined more and, different things that I do now that I didn't see myself before. And he said, you always had that seed in you. And sometimes you need the right soil to be able to plant it. So I'm doing other
I love
businesses
that.
now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I thought that was smart as well. That was wise.
Hmm.
So I'm doing other businesses now that I'm opening because people started reaching out to me and said, Deborah, you're a successful real estate agent. This is not a junior zone or common to everybody else. And that's how I realized that I was doing something special. I thought I was just Austin like everybody else. Um, so people started reaching out and said, can you help us to have the system, the tools, the goals, how to become a successful real estate agent? So I opened that because people were asking. So I'm seeing other places where I could give myself. Also, I'm getting bored. Sometimes I get bored of just doing the same thing, because I have managed to understand how to use other people's time, skills in different areas. So I started having more time to myself, surprisingly. So I started saying, where else can I plant myself? Because I want this Deborah to be fulfilled and grow and do other things. So I'm excited about some of those opportunities, Colin.
Amazing. Amazing. Give our listeners three actionable takeaways that you think every agent should be doing in their business right now.
Okay, actionable takeaways. Make sure you have systems. It's very, very important. And make sure that you're monitoring them, you're evaluating them, you're also flowing and growing according to the trend. So AI has been in our world now in the last 1 to 2 years. I started implementing AI about a year ago. So those are things that can help us to save money and time and use some of those resources to our advantage, like ChatGPT, right? If you don't have someone on your team, make sure that you try to see if you can hire someone. You can also leverage on other people's time, like mentors, right? Um, Mentors as people that can help you grow. They can challenge you. They can be your accountability partner. That's something else that I would encourage people to consider if they don't have that as well. And I always say that marketing is the lifeblood blood of any real estate agent. You never can stop marketing. You need to continue doing it whether the market is booming, whether it's not booming. Like I said, I got someone finally ready to purchase a property with me, and this was a lead 10 years ago. Okay, so we need to continue to prospect every single day, no matter what. You get in it what you put in it. So if you market correctly to the right audience, you continue to measure, you make sure that your system is right and you're professional, and you get the right mentor to hold you accountable and leverage on their skills and people, other people as well, you're gonna do great.
Amazing. What do you see in the future for organized real estate? What do you think our challenges are?
Okay. I think um for real estate agents, there's this new lawsuit that was just settled, NAS or something it's called in the
NAR
US.
in the
No,
US. Yeah.
okay. And a lot of people are panicking about that. I honestly think that is going to separate the wheat from the shafts. Oh, sorry, the crops from the shafts. Correct my English. Okay, English is
Oh,
not my
I
first language.
always say, you know,
Sorry, broke off. Say that again. Okay. Okay.
wheat from the chaff as well.
Yes, the wheat from the shafts, right? So people are gonna recognize value. The more
Mhm.
value you provide to your clients, the more attracted they are to you and the more irreplaceable you become. So always look for ways to add value. And I see that agents that are going to be successful in this space, because in Canada, 99 about I think almost 99% of agents fail in their first 2 years anyways. Whether
Yeah,
AI is coming, whether there is a new policy, there's always going to be something new. But if you keep at it, so you're adding value, you're professional, you have the right systems, people are always going to sort out for value, right? So that's what I see the future of real
absolutely.
estate. Yeah,
Absolutely. Changes like this, it actually makes me excited because there's always opportunity when things change. And exactly like you said, that it is going to separate the professional from the not so professional. And it is going to make all of us that are going to stick around or at least want to stick around up our games. And that
exactly.
is where it gets really exciting because then the consumer gets way better service and we are much more professional. And that is absolutely, I can tell that's the direction that you want to be in, and myself and my team as well. So
This is wonderful, Collins. You are so good at interviewing. This is a genius zone of yours. I'm not sure if somebody else had told you this, but you are natural.
oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you saying. So, realtors are generally a very giving bunch. What are you doing to give back to your community?
Okay. So there are a few things that I love to do. My husband is actually a giver. This guy will give everything if you let him. So one of the charities that we love to do is to sponsor kids back in Africa and some of the other rural areas around Africa. So we are sponsoring about 5 kids right now. We actually started from them when they're young. We like to follow their story. They write back to us. We see pictures. That makes us fulfilled, right? Because you're sponsoring one person at a time. Also, because we have such a big family and we want our kids to have that culture as well. So, most times, once in a year, we go downtown and we just buy a bunch of sanitary pads, things that people need. We buy it, bundle it up, and we give sometimes about 200 to 500 of those kits, and we give it back to people, and we let our kids see that, just so they understand that another side to life, and giving is something that actually fulfills people. So those are some of the things we do to give back.
You're amazing.
Thank you, Colin. I
So,
thank you as well.
we're almost going to wrap it up, but we have my favorite part coming up, which is the rapid fire round.
You didn't
So,
prepare me for this, guys. Just to let you know, this is how.
no, no, this is the rapid fire round, and we're going to go quick, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, here we are. What is one piece of technology that you could not do without, and why? And you're not allowed to say the MLS or your cell phone.
Oh wow, yeah, that's hard. Rapid round. Okay, yes. I use ChatGPT all the time now. I think I use it at least 5 to 10 times a day.
Me too. What is the best book you've ever read and why?
Oh, there's so many of them. Which one should I pick? Um, I have so many. I love the most recent one, what's the name of this book? How to have some peace of mind, because that was something that I was struggling with in the past. So I was reading that book and I truly love it. I'm going to find the name. But how to settle down as a monk is what it's called, something like that. Um,
Is
by,
it Jay Shetty's book?
yes, Think Like a Monk,
Think
Jay
Like a
Shetty.
Monk. I've read it. Yeah.
Yes, I love that because I had to start learning how to quiet my mind. So I love that book. I also like Atomic Habits as well. Um,
Right there. Right there. Anybody watching on video? Atomic Habits is right there.
I also love that book because one thing, we don't have to change big things. We just change small little things and they become the snowball
In
into big
yeah,
things.
incremental small gains over
Yes.
time. It's like compound interest. What is the best business advice you've ever received?
The best business advice I've ever received is not to take things personal. Um,
Beautiful.
yes.
Okay, this is a long one to set this up. Imagine you woke up tomorrow in a brand new world, identical to Earth, but you knew no one. You still have all the experience and knowledge you currently have. Your food and shelter is taken care of, but all you have is a laptop and $500. What would you do to resurrect your real estate business in the next 7 days? That's my favorite
Okay.
question to ask people, by the way.
Okay. So I have no one. I know nobody. I have my laptop. I $500. I will take myself to the next biggest stage. I will tell them what I have and what I can offer. And I will get myself invited as a guest to speak about what I do as a real estate agent and how I can add value to people's life.
That's amazing. Get on as many stages and in front of as many people as possible and communicate to them what you know and why you're a professional.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That there is terrific advice to anybody.
Thank
So,
you.
last one, give us a quote that has guided you in your life, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. This quote is I inherited it from my dad, and it was on the wall in our house for a very long time in Nigeria. Is never seek for very good where excellence is possible. Never seek for very good where excellence is possible. So I'm always looking for the best way to approach things, the excellent way to do things. I'm not seeking for the average. I'm always seeking for excellence. And the idea to that is even if you're looking for excellence, if that was your target and you hit very good, you're still generally okay. But you don't want to set your targets lower. So that's
Yep.
that's my mantra.
Aim high, fail high. Aim low, fail low.
Exactly.
Right? Awesome.
Exactly.
Deborah, it has been really, really amazing. I am so glad that we connected on Instagram and that I invited you on this podcast to get to know you a little bit. I hope one day that we can get together in person and continue this conversation. I really appreciate you being on here and sharing with all of our listeners your wisdom and most of all, your story. So one of the big things that we like to do on the podcast is we like to give referrals either in or out. You're in the Toronto area. What is the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me is by email. I always say because I travel sometimes, I may miss your call. So kindly please email me admin@deborahhomes.com, ADMIN at DBORAHOMES.com. That's the best way to reach me. You can also reach out to me on Instagram, DeborahHomes.com. There's no other Deborah Holmes on there. And the reason why I like this platform is I do have some assistants there. So if you can't reach me personally, one of our team members is able to respond to you quickly within 2 hours. Those are the best way for you to contact me.
I'm going to make it super easy on everybody. I'm going to put all of your information into the show notes on this podcast, and they can look there on my website and get a hold of you. Again, it has really, truly been a pleasure. I love hearing the stories. That's what drives me to make this podcast, and this was just awesome. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Colin.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to Total Agent Access. Head on over to iTunes, hit subscribe. While you're there, leave us a review. 1 star is okay, but 5 stars is even better.